Today, we will take a look at how THQ, one of the most popular game companies of the 2000s,
THQ.
THQ was founded in 1990 as a toy manufacturer. The company's initial plan was to license popular cartoons from major companies like Nickelodeon and Disney and transform them into video games. They aimed to release their first game, Peter Pan and the Pirates, within a year. THQ continued producing both toys and licensed children's games until 1994, when they shifted their focus solely to video games. Everything seemed to be going well for THQ. The company's team successfully managed to create casual games for children and families until the early 2000s. THQ was confident, creating games featuring beloved characters that children saw on TV and in movies every day, ensuring a reliable business model. Even when kids grew tired of certain characters, there were always new ones to look forward to. It was as if the world of comic characters was an endless source. With titles like Pixar's A Bug's Life, WCW Monday Nitro, and SpongeBob, THQ maintained a slice of the market share with their licensed casual games in the 2000s, but now it was time for a breakthrough, for hints and clues. The driving force behind THQ was its team that created games for children and families. However, a new team that focused on creating games for adults and core gamers joined THQ in the early 2000s. Starting from 2004, this team accelerated game production. Warhammer 40,000: Dawn of War, set in the world of Relic's licensed Warhammer games, was planned to be released in 2004. While the initial Dawn of War and its expansion Winter Assault didn't meet THQ's expectations, Saints Row, an exclusive Xbox 360 release by Volition in 2006, had exceeded 3 million in sales for THQ. Smiles all around. THQ closed 2006 with the second expansion pack for Dawn of War, Dark Crusade, and Relic's new creation, Company of Heroes. While the core audience team required 18 to 24 months and a significant budget to develop a single game, the Kids and Family Sites team could produce a game in 6 to 7 months with a much smaller budget. Despite a few well-performing games on one side and more prolific sales on the other, the sentiment among the company's veterans was generally more positive about the Kids and Family studios. Eventually, they managed to release many more games with the given budget. Both development teams had the right to use their budgets whenever they wanted. Kids and families couldn't disturb the core, and the core couldn't disrupt kids and families. Though the two teams didn't always see eye to eye, their separate efforts contributed to turning THQ into one of the world's largest game producers by the mid-2000s. In 2007, THQ's market value reached $2 billion, with individual stock trading at $30. The company was making money. There seemed to be no chance for things to go downhill from there. But the bells began to toll. THQ had established itself in 2007 thanks to its licensed children's games released during the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube generations. It held the biggest market share in this sector, and each game they released quickly caught the attention of console owners, leaving children always wanting more new games. THQ had dipped its hands into this vast ocean, and every time it did, it found a different treasure. With this confidence, THQ renewed contracts with various manga and toy manufacturers in 2005 to 2006, anticipating the release of the new generation of consoles, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The timing was somewhat complicated, but the THQ office was prepared for this situation. After all, it took a certain amount of time for millions of users to transition from their old consoles to the new ones. While the sales of games released by the Kids and Family team were initially low, they were expected to rise rapidly as kids and families gradually moved to the new generation of consoles. However, nobody considered mobile phones, especially with the emergence of the iPhone in 2007 and the advancement of smartphone technology. Many households that used to buy game consoles for their kids switched to mobile devices. Games were cheaper, simpler, and much more accessible on mobile devices. This hit THQ hard because, in 2009, they still had a significant number of licensed games in their portfolio, but no one was playing them anymore. Worse yet, each licensed product had a contract that required the company to release a certain number of games per year, which forced THQ to work at a loss due to those previously signed contracts. 2008 was not only a bad year for the gaming industry but also for the global economy. The global economic crisis affected every sector, leaving millions unemployed and struggling. This crisis marked the beginning of the downturn for THQ, which was already struggling with game sales. Initially, all companies' market values plummeted. It was a global economic crisis, after all. However, while some companies that hit rock bottom managed to recover months or years later, THQ never managed to recover from this decline. The upward trajectory on the PowerPoint presentation graph in their monthly meeting now always pointed downward. By the end of 2008, THQ had a debt problem. The market value dropped, and stock prices were gradually declining. Amidst all this turmoil, UDraw was released on November 14, 2010, for the Wii. Wii users could use UDraw to draw and play games. THQ expanded Wii users' options by releasing tablet-supported games like SpongeBob and Kung Fu Panda. The tablet was a huge success, selling 1 million units in just a few months, providing THQ with a much-needed financial boost. The success of the tablet caught THQ by surprise, and they hadn't stocked enough. With the success of the tablet on Wii, an idea occurred to THQ: why not bring this tablet to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 as well? Within a year after the initial release of the tablet, they brought it to other consoles. This time, THQ had learned its lesson and sent around 2 million units to retailers. Unfortunately, UDraw flopped on the PS3 and Xbox 360 platforms. THQ fell victim to its own greed. First, there wasn't a market for tablets on the PS3 and Xbox 360 platforms. Second, THQ probably missed the most crucial point: tablets alone were useless, and they needed games that supported the tablet. Unfortunately, there were no such games on the PS3 and Xbox 360 platforms. UDraw did not perform well on PS3 and X360, and it was a colossal failure. It went out of production, and of the 2 million tablets released, 1.4 million remained unsold and untouched. It's hitting the ground. In 2011, THQ had a full year ahead with 4 major games on their calendar: Saints Row, The Third, Homefront, Red Faction, Armageddon, and Warhammer 40,000: Space Marines. The kids and family studios also tried their luck with limited budgets, but selling these 4 games was the only way to pull the company out of its debt crisis. Unfortunately, except for Saints Row, The Third, all the games sold abysmally, driving another nail into THQ's coffin. Homefront, especially, failing in a period.